welcome to another edition of Infield Fly, talking baseball with you. As there's really nothing. I was like, hey, we're 3 weeks in, or a month in. There's really no marker this week. We're just in. We're in on the baseball.
All
season.
in.
All season has started, and we got a lot to get into. As we'll look back at the last week of Major League Baseball and look ahead to what's coming up this week as well. Check out some of the headlines and just talk some baseball with you here on Infield Fly. I'm Rob Fisher. I'm a Cardinals fan.
You okay?
You said you guys are going to win the Central.
I did not say that. I didn't.
He did not say that.
What did he say?
He said that, can you give us a chance? Can we be one of the teams that could win? He didn't say that they could.
Yeah, I said I think that people think, the Cardinals think that they can win the division.
Right.
I think you said you thought so too, though.
No, that's not true.
I don't remember that.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna mark the transcript right here.
I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna speak up for my boy. I don't think he did that. I might be wrong though. I might be wrong.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe I did. Who knows? That's Lang Whitaker. He's the controversial one. He always
me.
trying to start the trouble.
Controversy.
And a Braves fan. Yeah.
That's me.
Braves. Yeah, Braves lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets this week. You got nothing to talk about. That's embarrassing. Embarrassing. Especially after the way they own the Mets.
Break up the Mets.
But that happens a lot. Like, we lose to the Mets early in the season, and then when the games matter, we beat the Mets.
Win 13 in a row.
Yeah.
Keith Murphy is with us as well. Chicago Cubs fan. They're okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, we're
Cubs
okay.
We're good. Yeah. We'll get into our teams. We'll talk a lot of baseball and everything going on around the sports. The top story this week, I guess the top story this week is the Shohei Ohtani news.
Yeah,
that Shohei's cleared. Shohei's fine. Shohei did nothing wrong. Shohei knew nothing, saw nothing, and that's.
I don't know nothing, man. Nothing.
That's right. That's what we believe at this point.
He is clearly, one thing we found out is he is clearly a terrible money manager.
Yes.
Just terrible. As good as he is at baseball, he is as bad as that at managing his finances.
But Lane, keep it. The man didn't even notice that $16 million of his money was gone.
Yeah.
That's how rich he is.
That's exactly
right.
Like,
that's how rich that man is right now. Like, it's like, that's money in the couch.
He's like Scrooge McDuck. Like, he's got one of those vaults just full of money.
Just full of money.
That translator was in there, laying on those piles of gold.
Yo, he was doing backwards. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Federal investigators launched an investigation and concluded that Ippei Muzahara was lying. That's a Shohei's interpreter.
Yeah.
And that Shohei was completely in the dark over the gambling debt. Muzahara embezzled from one of Ohtani's accounts without the pitcher knowing.
Yeah.
Now, the feds concluded Ohtani was not involved in any wrongdoing and has never had any association with gambling or bookmaking. Ippei gambled up. Now they're saying that he gambled up to $40 million in debt.
God damn, dog. Crazy. That's
Who?
crazy.
What? He's taking $40 million in debt from somebody. That's the real question.
I mean, what? This bookmaker must be Scrooge McDuck now. Like, this guy. This guy made $40 million off Ohtani.
Yo, at a certain point as a bookmaker, you got to say, dog, you keep losing.
I don't think you do, though. No, if you're the bookmaker, you're like, all right, let's keep going here. I mean, because the guy's paying his debts. He's paying you $40 million. Like, I mean,
and
it's
apparently is a really bad gambler.
Oh, yeah. He said it. He said it in a text. He was like, LOL, I'm a bad gambler.
But, I mean, if you're the bookmaker, you're kind of like, big tobacco here. You're like, I know we're all complicit in this thing, but I'm going to keep the money coming in. Like, it's all pretty weird.
Yeah. But the story, the news out of it is Shohei had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all.
And skeptical people like Lang, to me, I think this is a federal investigation.
Yeah.
This is the feds.
Yeah.
They're not just giving Shohei an easy out because he's Shohei Ohtani.
They know their stuff.
Unless they're Dodger fans.
Oh, for crying out loud! Come on. I mean, this is you believe Shohei now, right? We believe Shohei. How do you
did
not?
Did you see Keith? Did you see? We were talking about hip hop before we started. Chuck D from Public Enemy he's an amazing artist. He does like a lot of like paintings and drawings and posts them on social media. And he's also a big baseball fan. You remember he used to wear the Pittsburgh Pirate hat?
Yeah, of course.
But Chuck posted a picture he drew yesterday, and it's Shohei standing there, and in the background is Pete Rose giving him the side eye. So like, I kind of feel that way. I'm like, all right, I don't know, man. $40 million and you have nothing to do with it.
I just think that's the way he rolls, man.
I need a friend like Shohei. I know that.
I think he's one of those cats that's just does not care about his money.
I'll interpret for him.
Yeah, me too.
My first question would be, so am I in charge of that account?
You'd be fired the first day.
I don't know, man. I'd get Google Translate on my phone and just follow him around. We can make it happen. Pay me for. I'll tell you what. I'll do it for $30 million.
$30 million.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll do it.
I'll tell you what. I'll do it for $1 million.
That's what I was about to say. I'll do it for $5 or $1.
Save you $39 million.
Yeah, no kidding. Now I'm gonna steal from your account, but
maybe not.
Maybe not.
You won't know about it.
Yeah, no kidding, man. So yeah, that's the latest with Shohei. He is cleared.
What happens to that money? Like, does the money go? Does it go back to Shohei, or is it just like you know? It's
probably in the ether, man.
He lost the money and now it belongs to this guy. I don't know.
But aren't they coming after the bookie because he was running an illegal?
Yeah. So maybe they are able to like take the money back.
Yeah, because they're running after him too. So
I have a feeling that guy didn't like put it in a savings account though.
Oh no.
I don't know.
You know, he's got 40 million cash right there, sitting probably in his vault.
I mean, if I'm that bookmaker, I'm in the Caribbean at this point or somewhere. Like I'm not in LA, but I don't know.
I mean, I just wonder why he just didn't hide the money machines when they were busted in there. Like, why you got money machines laying around? Like, come on, man. Like that's
because you got to show his money. You got to count it. There's so much of it.
Yeah. Well, when I played baseball at St. Louis U, we had a gambling ring. Not the same as this bookmaker making $40 million, but a guy on our baseball team apparently. He was running a book in St. Louis around town and got caught because a high school kid got in so much debt, like tens of thousands of dollars, that they threatened his life. And the kid told his father. Father called the police. Police tailed everybody on the baseball team for like 6 months. And then one day after practice, they got home and the police were at their home. And well, the guy who was in charge of the gambling ring, our pitcher, Joe Simone, who was part of the Kansas City mob.
Why are you giving that man a shout out?
Yeah,
it was in the newspaper.
Leave us out of this.
His name has already been out of there.
Stitches get stitches, fish.
Oh,
well, Simone hit me in the knee with a pitch because he was mad at something, and so I don't care. He deserves it. They showed up at his house and was running a legal book throughout the city of St. Louis, and he got busted, and another guy on the team got busted and had to transfer and go somewhere else, and there were many more people involved. But
so how did you stay clean, Fish? How did you stay clean from this?
I didn't have any money. That's how. and I didn't have a Shohei sugar daddy either to pay my debts.
Those Midwestern gambling rings are terrifying. That's like the Sting or Fargo. Not Fargo. What's the show at the lake in there? Ozark.
Ozark, yeah.
Yeah, the Midwestern mob. I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, no, it was a to-do. It was a pretty big deal. And he got arrested, ran from the police, but they caught him, and they arrested him and arrested the other guy on the team who ended up not being arrested. He just transferred, but they had something on a lot of guys on the team and the coach and other athletes at the school. And but the president of our school told the police, "You got who you needed. It's over," and it was over. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
President of St. Louis U. Shout out Father Lawrence Biondi, who just shut that down.
And now you and I host a gambling show. So.
And now we host a gambling show. See, it all worked out.
Shout out the Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
Such degenerates. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, we gave everybody the right Masters pick. So
that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, professional handicappers right here. It all started at a young age. All right, a couple of other things. One thing learned this week: Kenley Jansen. Have you heard about Kenley Jansen?
Yeah.
He doesn't like the baseballs.
He doesn't like the baseballs. Got his 424th career save on Sunday. Did it despite loading the bases to begin his appearance by hitting a batter, walking a batter, and surrendering a single. Afterward, he became the second pitcher in 10 days to criticize the quality of the baseballs. He said, any balls that came in, I threw them back until I found a good one. It's just brutal. I probably have to get better. I'll always be accountable to myself. I'm going to get better. But if your bullpen baseballs are better rubbed than game balls, it's embarrassing. I've been in the league a long time now, and from the beginning of my career to now, it's getting worse. He complained, and Steve Fairchild complained earlier in the week as well, a relief pitcher. Both of them were rocked, or at least had horrible outings, and then complained about the baseballs. Apparently, they're just not rubbed up good enough.
Well, Jansen also said, I'm not a guy who walks a lot of people or hits a lot of people. To which I thought, have you seen yourself pitch?
No kidding.
You were the closer on the Braves for a couple of years. I've seen Kenley Jansen. He walks a lot of people and hits a lot of people. So
maybe he's talking about his time before the Braves.
I don't know, but
it was the same thing then
with the Dodgers. Yeah, like I don't know. I think he just had a bad outing. At least like Chris Sale got rocked the other day for the Braves, and after the game he was like, well, at least I was able to throw a lot of innings because you got to do something if you suck otherwise. I was like, all right, at least he took accountability for it. You know, like don't blame the baseballs, don't blame other stuff. Just suck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's pitchers just always have something to complain about.
Yeah,
whether it's the pitch clock, whether it's someone in the box doing something to them, or the baseball's not being rubbed up. Right?
It's still kind of weird though, Fish. A lot of these pitchers going down with injuries. I'm still trying to figure it out. So early in the season too. Like if it was like in the middle of the season. Later in the season, okay, it's just wear and tear. But in the beginning, like early in the season like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's something happening.
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
I'm not blaming the pitch clock either. I'm saying
I'm blaming the pitchers. We've put so much emphasis now on spin rate. So much emphasis. And velocity. And we put so much on numbers that you're trying to hit those numbers every time you throw a baseball. Instead of just throwing naturally and throwing, we're trying to hit spin rate numbers. And by trying to hit spin rate numbers, we're moving our arm in a way that we shouldn't be moving our arm. And I think that's what's hurting pitchers. I don't think it's the pitch clock. I don't think it's the baseball's not being rubbed up. I think it's pitching is just not a normal motion for your arm.
Especially the off speed stuff, I think. But I was talking to one of my buddies this week who played college baseball. It was a pitcher actually, and we were talking about Strider going down, and he was like, "Why did he start trying to throw a curveball this year? You know, he didn't need to do that." And all of a sudden, he adds a curveball to his repertoire, and now he's hurt, and now he's out for a year. Like maybe it's not that, but that does seem like a pretty.
No, I think it's that. I think that's the reason. I've read copious amount of articles about it, about how even as college kids, coming into college, high school, they're telling you to do this. They're telling you to find 5 different pitches. You're like, come on, man, just it was not that complex back in the day, especially for high school pitchers. You just throw the ball hard.
Yeah.
And it's at the point now where if you're a pitcher, you're going to have surgery at some point. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys have gone through and not?
I mean, Strider had it at Clemson. He had it in college.
Oh, he did.
He's having it again, but he's having a different one this time.
Okay. So that doesn't worry you, Lane.
I mean, what? I don't know. Like, I hope not. I hope he's fine, but I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
and they were. Well, we can talk about it when we talk about
Yeah,
the
yeah, go
Braves.
ahead. Yeah, yep.
All right. Well, let's get into the Braves. Braves this week lost 2-3 against the Mets. Won 2-3 at Miami. Marcelo Zuna had a heck of a week. He's up to 7 home runs.
Unbelievable.
Here we
Insane.
go again.
Unbelievable. I mean, there. I saw a tweet this week. I wish I could find it. I don't have time to look for it, but where before there was there's like a clear line where a year ago it started last season, the first month and a half last season, he was so bad. And since then, he's like one of the best hitters in baseball. And I don't know what happened, why it changed. I mean, that game, he had a walk-off, not a walk-off, it was top of the ninth. But yesterday against the Marlins, the Braves were down a run. They got 2 on, 2 outs. Ozuna's up, 2 strikes, and he just cranks one. Like, where in the world? Like, what is going on? So our pitching is so shaky right now that like we have to outscore everybody, and
Mm.
we kind of can. So it's been working, but I don't know how sustainable this is. Maybe it is. Maybe we're just good enough offensively that we can do that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Ozuna somehow is our slugger now.
the pitching, Max Fried at least had a good outing
Yeah,
after a
finally.
couple of bad ones. Chris Sale, as you mentioned, gave up 5 runs, but he did go 7 innings.
All those runs are in one inning too. Like he was good for the rest of the time, and he had that
Right.
one inning where he got squeezed by the ump. I'm waiting for the robot umps. He got squeezed by the ump and put some guys on, and he was ticked off. Like I kind of like watching him curse out the umps with his back to him, Um, but he was pretty good. So like Freed's now your number 1 starter. Charlie Morton's 2, Sale is 3, Ronaldo Lopez is 4, and 5 is going to be some minor leaguer or by committee or I don't know. One of the things I read was like they were like, well, coming back at midseason is going to be Ian Anderson, and he was out because Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
And another option was Huascar Inoa, who has been out for a year because of Tommy John surgery. So like it's becoming like this like weird revolving door of guys coming back from Tommy John surgery and going out for Tommy John surgery on your pitching staffs.
Yeah, Ronaldo Lopez, you mentioned 6 scoreless innings this week to get a win.
Yeah.
Mets scored 29 runs. They had 25 coming in.
Yeah.
Haven't they won like 6 straight or something like that?
But one of those was they got way ahead, and the Braves put in like we always like position players pitching. Luis Guillorme came in to pitch and gave up a grand slam against his former team, the Mets.
Yeah.
So like that was skewed a little bit. That was a blowout. They got out of control.
Yeah. Morton was roughed up a couple of times though this week. So I mean, at this point with the Braves, pitching's the concern, right?
Yeah. Morton was also terrible at the start of last year, and then all of a sudden turned into like the ace of the staff around midseason and was great down the stretch. So maybe that happens again. I don't know. But yeah, pitching's definitely the concern. Bryce Elder is probably going to get called back. I mean, he was an all-star last year and was terrible the second half and is in the minors now, so maybe he figured something out. I don't know. AJ Smith-Shawver was the rookie who got a couple of looks last year. He'll probably get some looks now. The problem is like the guys who were like the rookie guys who were great in spring training and got sent to AAA all got rocked like the first 2-3 weeks in the minors, and so people are looking at their stats and being like, oh no, like I don't know why they were so good in spring training. They've been terrible in AAA. So like I don't know. Maybe they'll pitch better on the big stage. I don't know. But I mean, look, we're in first place, and there's a lot of season left.
Yeah, 9-5 for the Braves at this point. That'd be a half game better than the Chicago Cubs, who are 9-6 to start the season. West Coast swings are always scary.
Very scary.
But the Cubs came away with it pretty good. Lost 2 of 3 at San Diego.
One of those losses, though, Fish, was terrible. Come on,
led 8-0 and lost 9-8.
Like come on, man. I was your boy was going through it.
Yeah,
I was going through it early in the season too. It was like unnecessary, like just cursing everything. Just
yeah, and then came back and won 2 out of 3 at Seattle. Kyle Hendricks roughed up in San Diego, and Christopher Morel did hit his 3rd home run. It was a grand slam, but lost 2 of 3 to the Padres.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks. I know he has a tendency to start really, really, shaky early on in the season, but it, he's got to get some strikeouts. Like he's hunting for ground balls, and I know that's his thing. I know that's what he does, but got to start getting some outs, man, and stop trying to be cute with it. Just strike somebody out or stop hunting for rollouts, man. That's what it seemed like he was doing the whole game.
Yeah. And then in Seattle, Imanaga, 5 1/3, scoreless, 4
Yep.
strikeouts. He's 2-0.
He's worth it. I keep telling you, man. They're going to talk about him as the bargain basement version of all of these guys that everybody was signing. Like, let's throw 240 million, 220 million. Yeah. We got this guy for a deal. And and what's getting on with Michael Bush, man? Like somebody got to explain.
Bush.
Somebody got to explain this cat to me, man. Like was it just he just was feeling uncomfortable with the Dodgers? Is he like looser now? Like I don't know what's going on, but he's been hitting them.
4 home run. He's homered in 4 straight games, and now has 5 homers already on the season. Michael Bush. Did you expect that?
No, not at all. I think we've needed all of the offense that we can get, Fish, because at this point our rotation is just, as the great poet laureate John Bon Jovi said, living on a prayer.
Yeah.
like it's crazy now. Like we're depending on a rookie to bail us out now with our pitching rotation. What's the kid's name again? Let me get his name because I don't want to butcher it. What's the kid's name? Ben Brown. He's got one of the most normal names. It's like you made up the name. Somebody have to make up a name like that. Ben Brown. But yeah, he's been great. Like you mentioned, Amaganaga, he's been great. Kyle Hendricks, not so much. So we'll see how we do. We just signed Julio Tran, the dude that just did reassignment for the Mets. So that just shows you how desperate we
Braves
are
legend.
right now. Braves legend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really sketchy right now with the pitching. We can't get Justin Steele back too soon.
Well, pitching the problem for both the Braves and the Cubs. For the Cardinals, the pitching's actually been decent, surprisingly. Despite losing 2 of 3 to Philadelphia and 2 of 3 at Arizona. The Cardinals now 7-9 on the season. Sonny Gray had his debut, and he was good. 5 scoreless innings, 5 strikeouts. Kyle Gibson's given up like 1 big home run a game. That's hurt that he's done that. And other than that, he's pitched pretty well. Lance Lynn is pitching pretty well. He's given up runs, but not earned runs. I mean, Lance Lynn's that guy that it's happened this way for Lance Lynn for years, where he can be rolling along, having a shutout game, and then all of a sudden it's a bunt single, a sacrifice, a walk, a 2-base error, a base hit, a home run, and all of a sudden you're down 5-0, and the guy was pitching really well.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell just happened?
It sounds like Hendricks to me. That's how Hendricks pitches.
And so Lance Lynn's kind of been doing that. He had an outing the other day with no earned runs, but he gave up 4 runs. None of them were earned. But he's been pitching well, and he's been eating up innings, which they want him to do. Steven Matz has actually been okay. His last outing wasn't as great, but he's been okay. So the pitching's been pretty decent. The problem is with the Cardinals is their lineup. Paul Goldschmidt's hitting $193.
You got to explain that to me.
You were worried about that, weren't you?
And it has 1 home run. Yeah, I mean, this is a guy who was an MVP 2 years ago, and he's hitting 193. He's got 1 home run. He's just not driving the ball. That is a concern. Nolan Gorman's hitting 217. Nolan Gorman needs to be better than that. Frankly, Gorman and Walker both need to be better. Gorman's hitting 217. Walker's hitting 178, and he hasn't hit a home run yet either. And then that guy at the bottom of the lineup that I told you about, that Victor Scott, who stole 98 bases last year.
Right.
and you said, well, I wonder what the problem is. Maybe he can't get on base. Well, that's exactly the problem, Lanning. He can't get on base. He's hitting
Who
in the
would have thought it?
bingo. Yeah, he's hitting the bingo range at 098 to
Mm,
start the season. And the Cardinals even did something that I wanted them to do. They put him at the top of the order. You know, when the season started, they put him down at the nine spot. And I was like, well, if he's got that speed, just put him at the top so you can drive him in. Well, he can't get on base to be driven in. So he's hitting 098. He's back down at the bottom of the order for the Cardinals. So that's 4 guys right there that are hitting 217 or less out of your 9 guys in the lineup. So
That's problematic.
that is problematic. Yes.
but you guys are still what, 7-9, right?
7-9 with having a West Coast swing. So
you think there's a chance they could win the division?
yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, he said it. He said
He
it.
said
I
it.
just got it.
Let's write it down.
No, I don't think so. I think they believe they can win the division.
Oh.
Yes, I believe they can win the division. But, you know, you started with the Dodgers. You've had a West Coast swing already to start the season. You've played Philadelphia. I think their schedule's been pretty tough to open the year, and you got Oakland coming up next. So hopefully you can take care of business there, although the A's have the same record as you. You know, maybe take care of business. Sonny Gray toeing the rubber tonight for the Cardinals against the Oakland A's. So I'm at 7-9. I'm okay. I'm not, you know, throwing in the towel just yet. But some things need to be better for sure. All right. National League East. Braves are at the top of the National League East, and then it's Philadelphia at 8-8. The Mets at 7-8. Pete Alonso's got 6 home runs on the season. Washington 6-9, and then Miami at 3-13. Miami's got to be the biggest surprise there, right? At
That is a
3-13.
huge surprise. I was not expecting that. I thought they would be at least top 3.
They're not terrible. Like they, you know, like I watched them this weekend against the Braves. Like they were in the games, and they can score runs. I don't know. It's just it's not there. I do like they
Tim
have a
Anderson.
guy.
Is it Tim Anderson?
They do have a guy who's kind of not fat, I guess husky guy. His last name is Berger.
Jake Berger.
Of
Jake
course.
Berger.
Of course.
That's one of my new favorite baseball guys, Jake Berger on the Marlins.
Yeah, he's a big dude and can bash the baseball.
Yeah.
He was with the White Sox last year, got traded to the Marlins last year at the deadline.
Yeah.
And he's from St. Louis. He went into St. Louis, hit a couple of bombs against the Cardinals in a game, and he got to the dugout and he said, "I like this place." And yeah, he's something else. He's fun to watch because he is a husky fella for the Miami Marlins for sure. Philadelphia is not really surprising at 8-8 because it feels like Philly does this every year.
Every year.
They'll get hot as the year goes on and get better as the year goes on, and then they'll go on some hot stretch that'll put them into position to possibly make a wild card, and then all of a sudden they're a different team come playoff time.
They're like the Miami Heat.
Yeah,
baseball.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's how the Central stacks up right now, or the East stacks up right now. The Central, you have the Milwaukee Brewers at the top spot at 10-4, followed by Cincinnati at 9-6, and then the Cubbies. I'm sorry. At the top spot's Pittsburgh, not Milwaukee.
Yes, of course.
Pittsburgh's in the top spot at 11-5. Then Milwaukee at 10-4. Cincinnati, 9-6. The Cubbies 9-6, and then the Cardinals at the bottom at 7-9. Pittsburgh's been a fun story. They split 2 against Detroit and then split 4 in Philadelphia. Brian Reynolds hit a second home run, number 100 of his career. Edward Oliver hit a 2 home run game. He's got 3 on the year. O'Neal Cruz hit his 3rd homer, and Andrew McCutchen hit home run number 300 in his career. McCutchen's an interesting story because you thought last year might be the end, but they kept him around to just be a leader for this team, and I think it was a good move. They have so much young talent on this Pittsburgh team, and it's finally starting to come together. Off to an 11-5 start. Do you believe?
Listen,
do you believe? Are we believers?
I do.
I'm a believer. Unfortunately, I'm a believer of them. I think McCutchen is a great story. I think they're going to need him, especially down the stretch, because sometimes I just don't think these kids realize what they're doing. they're just out there just playing. And now he's perfect for them, man. I just don't like the idea of looking up at the Buccos, but that's a whole nother story.
I don't like looking up at Milwaukee.
Well, I mean, Milwaukee's been they've been pretty good for the last 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah. And they're off to a really good start. And I thought they were a team that might fall this year after everybody that they've lost, but they're 10-4. They won
What
2 or
if
3 at Cincinnati and won 2 or 3 at Baltimore.
what if they get better after letting Craig Counsell go?
oh, don't say that.
That
Don't
would
do
be
that
kind of
to
funny
me.
though. Like,
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know why they're better. I wouldn't have predicted them to be better this year than they were in the past. So I don't know. Maybe that is part of it. Christian Yelich hit a couple of home runs this week. He's got 5 now on the year. Against Baltimore, 3-game series against Baltimore, the Milwaukee Brewers scored 26 runs in that series to beat Baltimore. And Baltimore's a really good team. So that was a good series to take for the Brewers. And then Cincinnati's at 9-6. They lost 2 or 3 to Milwaukee and then swept 3 at the White Sox. Ellie De La Cruz hit 4 home runs in the week. One of them was an inside the Parker. He had a 2-home-run game, one inside the park. He absolutely flew around the bases.
Insane.
And then the next at bat absolutely crushed the baseball. He's off to a nice start this season. So go Ellie.
Yeah, his combination of speed and power is frightening.
Yeah. He's been pretty amazing. So Cincinnati in the 3rd spot in that division. In the West, the Dodgers are at the top at 11-6. They won 2 or 3 at Minnesota, lost 2 or 3 against San Diego. Against San Diego, Shohei hit his 4th home run, tied Hideki Matsui for the most baseball home runs for Japanese-born players at 175.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Shohei's going to blast through that.
Yeah.
Max Muncy hit his 3rd and 4th home run. Tyler Glasnow, 7 scoreless innings and 14 strikeouts. He's off to a 3-0 start. And then against the Padres, they had the benches empty during a perfect game. There was a perfect game.
Yeah.
And in the 6th inning, and Jurickson Profar showed a bunt in the 6th inning. Now that's a no-no, right?
It's an unwritten rule.
Right. You can't
Unwritten
do
rule.
Yeah.
Breaking up a perfect game in the 6th.
That's a punk move, as they say.
So then he pulls the bunt back, and the next pitch he gets thrown at, and then he gets all testy, and the bench is empty, and just like every other benches clearing incident in baseball, nothing happens. Just a lot of yelling, a little pushing. Afterwards, Profar said, "For a moment, I thought it was because of the bunt, and that he was throwing a perfect game. But then I realized he wouldn't do that throwing a perfect game. He wouldn't throw at me in that case. It was just the heat of the moment. I wasn't trying to get the team energized or anything like that. We don't need that. We got a good team. We don't need any of that." So he kind of said it was his fault.
Sort of apologized.
Owned it. Yeah.
He owned up to it.
Although I mean, it makes sense, but also it makes sense that if you show a bunt, you're gonna get thrown at. He didn't hit him, right? He just backed him up.
Now, Dodgers catcher Will Smith, who exchanged words with Profar afterwards, he had this response. He said, "I don't know why we would have thrown at him. He's kind of irrelevant."
I hate Will Smith. So is Will Smith. Nobody frames pitches more egregiously than Will Smith.
Egregiously.
I mean, it is outrageous to watch him pull balls all the way in.
It's equal to Hernandez's punch outs, right? That what you said?
We'll
like Angel be
probably, yeah. I mean, it works half the time.
Yeah. Jordan Montgomery is going to make his debut on Friday for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Jordan Montgomery has fired Scott Boras.
All right.
Good.
He got him this late contract, and he's making his debut this Friday, and he fired his agent. So Scott Boras is out.
He has not had a good time. Boras has not been having a good time this season.
No. San Diego 8-9 on the year. San Francisco at 6-10, and Colorado at the bottom at 4-12. In the American League, in the East, the Yankees at the top at 12-4. They won 2 or 3 against Miami. They won 2 or 3 at Cleveland. Juan Soto continues to smash the baseball. Hit a 3-run bomb, his 2nd against Miami. Hit his 3rd home run against Cleveland. Aaron Judge hit his 3rd home run. It's the best start through 15 games for the New York Yankees, or 16 games at 12-4.
With their history, that's saying something.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. That's scary. That's what that is.
Marcus Stroman fell to 1-1 after a rough outing. And Giancarlo Stanton hit his 4th home run of the year as well. So the Yankees at 12-4. Yankees are playing great baseball.
What are they going to?
They're doing it on the road.
What are they going to do, Fish, when Stanton reaches 500 home runs? What can they
Hall
do?
of Fame?
I mean, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Because he's going to reach it.
That wasn't very convincing, Fish.
It was not very convincing.
I mean, we keep saying that the markers are moving, but they're moving downward. So if he's going to get to 500, he's clear cut Hall of Famer, right?
I mean, they might crime dog him. You remember how they did the crime dog all those years?
I'm looking up these numbers.
Go look him up.
He's not even the most famous Giancarlo. Giancarlo Esposito came up before him. Giancarlo Stanton has won an MVP. He's a two-time Silver Slugger. He was an All-Star Game MVP. He was a five-time All-Star. He led the league in home runs twice. I mean, the year he was the MVP in Miami, he had 59 home runs and 132 RBIs. I mean, yeah, his career, he's got 406 home runs.
Because it's going to happen. He's going to stay in the league long enough to get it.
I mean, we don't use batting average anymore, do we? What do we use now?
Not
OPS?
really.
Oh, it's an OPS.
How many RBIs?
RBI for his career, 1,040. He's got 1,500 hits. I don't know. I mean, the one thing I guess that he doesn't really have is like, I don't know, postseason stuff. I'm looking at his postseason numbers. Postseason batting. I mean, he's only gone as far as he went to the ALCS a couple times. Yeah, postseason 260 batting average, 11 home runs, 24 RBIs. So I don't know. I mean, he's really good. I mean, but would you put him in over Miguel Cabrera?
No. I
What
wouldn't
about
even put him in before your guy.
What about over Andrew Jones?
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. But Andrew Jones is a
two-way
two-way player. Like Stan's not really known for his defense, you know.
Yeah, but 500 bombs is 500 bombs.
But yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to get it though. Just 2 more seasons.
Yeah,
sort of unremarkable.
I'm with the number that struck me were the hits. I mean, to have 406 homers and only have 1,050 hits.
Yeah.
I mean,
that means he's home run honey. That's what that means.
1,500 hits
or 1,500 hits. I'm sorry,
but still, like 1 in 3 is a home run. Like yeah.
So, but I don't know. I'm a believer. You hit 500 home runs, you're a Hall of Famer. And if he's going to hit 500 home runs, I put him in. All right, Baltimore Orioles 9-6 on the year. They swept 3 at Boston. Corbin Burns, maybe the signing of the offseason. He went 7 scoreless to improve to 2-0. They came back from 5 down to win. Colton Cowser hit a 2-home run game. And then he had his 3rd and 4th against Milwaukee. They lost 2 of 3 against Milwaukee. Jackson Holliday made his debut, got his first career hit. This Baltimore team's fun to watch because they're young. I mean, with Gunnar Henderson and Adley Rutschman and now Jackson Holliday being called up, they got young pitchers around Corbin Burns. They're just young at every position, and they're just kind of scrappy. So they're fun to watch.
I told you I watched that game against the Red Sox the other night. And, that was a fun game to watch them come from behind at Fenway and all that stuff.
Yeah, they've been really good.
Jackson Holliday looks like he's like 13 years old.
He does.
I mean, he looks so young.
Yeah. Tampa Bay 9-7 on the year. Boston 9-7. Tyler O'Neill, the former Cardinal, has 7 home runs on the year. Yeah, that's exciting.
That burns your soul, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Did you see the pictures of him? I saw a picture of him this week, like with his shirt off.
Jacked.
Yeah, like really sort of. I don't want to say suspiciously jacked, but he did play for the Cardinals.
Oh man.
His dad was a what do they call a bodybuilder?
Oh really?
His dad's a bodybuilder. and won like Mr. Canada.
Like Jack LaLanne or like
Yeah.
Is it Jack O'Lane? Is it
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold?
Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
Arnold. I mean,
Because
in
those are two different things,
in
Lee
Canada,
Haney?
he's like one of the big deals in Canada as a bodybuilder. Yeah.
Okay.
The pictures of his dad next to him, it's like, my God. I mean, they're
you-
just massive people.
You're not helping Lane's suspicions right now. You just keep giving him more to think about.
Well, Lang needs to stop that. Toronto Blue Jays 8-8 on the season. That's underwhelming and disappointing.
Really is.
In the the Central's actually been a little more exciting than what we've seen in the past years. You have 3 teams that are over 500. Cleveland at 10-5. They had a fun little thing where Bo and Josh Naylor both homered in the same inning on Siblings Day. That was kind of neat.
Mhm.
That's cool.
But they're 10-5. The Kansas City Royals, one of the more entertaining teams to watch this year. They're 10-6. They swept 3 against Houston, had won 7 straight. Seth Lugo, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. He's 2-0 on the year. Then they lost 2 of 3 at the Mets. Bobby Witt Jr. hit his 3rd and 4th home run. He's becoming maybe the best player in baseball. Yeah,
Maybe.
I said it. I said it. Bobby Witt Jr.
I'm cheering for them. I really am.
I was looking at the standings the other day, and I noticed, like, they now on like the standings they put the run differential for the season in there, and the Royals have the highest in baseball, plus 37 on the season. Guess who has the lowest on the season?
Oh.
Anybody guess? Same division.
Colorado. Oh no. White Sox.
Yeah. White Sox are minus 51.
Yeah, it's getting so bad, Fish, that people are like, move the team.
White Sox are 2-13. Worst 15-game start ever.
Ever. I don't remember them having a beginning of the season like this ever in my lifetime. Even as a young White Sox fan before I turned to the evil side.
I was in Cleveland with the Grizzlies this past week, and the White Sox were staying at our hotel. And I saw Paul DeYoung, the former Cardinal. And I went over and I said hello, and we started chatting. And the chat lasted, it was very short because I didn't really have anything to say to him about his baseball. So how you guys looking this year? We couldn't do that.
Did you ask him if he was okay?
Like I did with Ali
Yeah.
Carmel? Yeah. No, I just I was just like, hey, good to see you. I'm a fan. Best of luck to you this season. And he was like, oh, thanks. Really appreciate it. And I was like, boy, you guys suck. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, they're awful. And they go out and sign Tommy Pham.
Yeah, to a minor league deal.
That should help everything out.
Yeah.
They're awful. Yeah, Kansas City, one of the fun teams to watch. Detroit, one of the fun teams to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They split 2 at Pittsburgh. They split 4 against Minnesota. Here's my theory on Detroit.
All right.
Remember before last season, was Pujols' last year?
2 years ago.
2 years
2
ago?
years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. I believe
2 years ago? Jeez.
I believe it was
right.
2 years, yeah.
Well, that's the season I'm talking about. The Albert Pujols' final season with the Cardinals. My concern was that final season was just going to be a circus about Albert Pujols. And that's all that mattered. And nothing else mattered. I'm starting to think Detroit Tigers last year, the whole Miguel Cabrera farewell tour was the big story, and it just took away from what this team could accomplish. You were playing a guy that shouldn't be playing, frankly. And it was a joke that he was playing. I mean, he was out there laughing and yucking it up with everybody. I mean, it was just kind of a Miguel Cabrera show more than anything. And now that that's gone and these guys can actually play baseball, I think it makes a big difference. And I think it's part of the reason why the Tigers are off to a 9-6 start.
We talked about when Pujols was on that last run and he could barely get around the bases and I told you I thought teams should walk Pujols just to clog up the base
Make
pass.
him run, yeah.
Yeah. They've done a lot of things over their career, but taking someone out of the lineup who's not as good and replacing them with someone better, turns out it makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah. In the American League West, wow, the American League West looks like crap right now. Texas is in first place at 8-8. two things with Texas this week. Left-hander Brock Burke placed on the injured list with a fractured left hand. He suffered the injury. He punched a wall.
It's always something like that.
Frustrated after a poor outing against the Astros, he punched a wall, and now he's on the injured list. And then Wyatt Langford, the brand new rookie for the Texas Rangers, their new little star, he struck out on 3 balls that were out of the strike zone thanks to Angel Hernandez.
I was just about to ask who was umping. I knew it was Angel Hernandez.
This week's Angel Hernandez segment.
Dude, they had a
all 3 balls were out of the zone.
Fish. They had online on Threads, just people just making Angel Hernandez like hate posts, dude. Like this dude is just he's become bigger than the sport. Like can somebody like just sit him down and be like, dude, you gotta stop this. Like, come on.
How does he get out of the game? I mean, what does he have to do to get fired?
Not that. I mean, my big takeaway from this is that the MLB umpires must have the best union in the history of sports.
Oh, they have to.
It's unbelievable that he's kept his job, and like he is a constant talking point, and nothing changes.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, he's an embarrassment. He embarrassed himself again this week. 3 strikes, all of them out of the zone, all called strikes by Angel Hernandez. The Angels are 7-8, Oakland 7-9, Seattle is 6-10. Luis Castillo is 0-4 with a 6.89 ERA to start the season.
Shocking.
Yeah, how about that? And then Houston off to their worst start since 2013 at 6-11. Couple of our favorites. Shohei Ohtani this week, 9 hits, 5 doubles, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, hitting .343.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty well.
And that's a yarn for him. Like that's just normal. Like
I mean, he also has like one of the biggest scandals in sports hanging over his head, and he's doing this. You know, like most people will probably get a little distracted by all this stuff going on.
Maybe he doesn't know about the scandal.
That's
he didn't know about his money.
that's a real possibility. From now that we realize he lost $40 million he didn't know about, maybe he might have no idea this is happening.
Man is just oblivious.
He doesn't have a translator anymore, so like nobody can explain it to him.
Now he has a new translator.
Does he?
I saw the cat. They were.
Is it Pete Rose?
No. New team translator. I believe.
How funny would that be?
That'd be great. Julio Rodriguez is struggling. He had 3 hits this week, 2 RBIs. He's hitting 186 to start the season. Elly De La Cruz, 8 hits, a double, 4 homers, 7 RBIs. He's hitting .314, so a good week for Elly De La Cruz. And O'Neal Cruz, 2 hits, a homer, 2 RBIs. He's hitting .246.
All right.
We'll look
are they going to pay Pete Alonso? Like, are they going to pay that man?
No.
Because that'd just be malpractice at this point.
They would have done it by now, though.
Yeah. There's got to be something going on behind the scenes. I don't know what it is.
Just mismanagement?
That, or maybe there's like some personal beef happening here. Or it's just cheap. Maybe ownership's just cheap now. They don't want to, pay people the way that they were paying them like a season ago. Maybe they're just, because somebody's going to give them some money. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody.
Oh, yeah, someone will give them money. I mean, the guy can hit 40 bombs a year.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to give them to him. My Cardinals betting, I went 3-3 this week. I'm 9-7 now on the year betting the Cardinals.
Ahead of the Cardinals.
Look at
2 games ahead of the Cardinals right now. Yeah. This week, Atlanta, rough week for Atlanta. Although
Texas week.
Both of these teams are not good right now, but at Houston and at Texas.
A home against Texas.
Oh, it's at home against Texas.
Yeah, but still, it's Houston and Texas back-to-back this week, so those are good teams.
Not easy. Cubbies are in Arizona for 3, and then host Miami for 4.
All right.
It could go either way with that. I don't even want to say. I don't even want to give a number just yet, but let's just wait. It depends on how our pitching is clicking.
You got to win at least 4 games this week, Murph. Miami, you got to win 3 out of 4.
Well, Miami, I can get 3, but Arizona's sneaky. You just never know what it is.
Well, get out of the West Coast, steal a win. I think you're happy. Cardinals are in Oakland for 3.
And look at you. Look at you you're getting baby food over there. Look at you.
Let's go, Birdos. And then Milwaukee at home for 3. So
God bless you. God bless you.
That gets
big,
tougher.
big division rival against the Milwaukee Brewers. Big week for the Cardinals. Could make a huge jump in that Central Division, which we believe we can win. Also, Texas will be at Detroit this week. They'll play 4 games. Cleveland at Boston this week for 4. This weekend, you got Boston and Pittsburgh for 3 games, and Baltimore at Kansas City for 3 games. I think that one will be a lot of fun. The 2 teams that we were talking about how much fun they are to watch, both playing this weekend in Kansas City. That could be a very fun series.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fellas, that's all I got.
All right.
I mean, let's see if your team could win it in the Central.
We're trying. We think we can. We think we can. We think we can.
The little team that could.
That's right. All right, fellas. That's going to do it for us this week here on Infield Fly. Thank you for joining us, talking baseball with you each and every week here on Grind City Media. For Lang, for Murph, I'm Fish. We'll talk to you next week here on Infield Fly on Grind City Media.